Welcome everyone. My name is Roni Rufian. I am a career engagement educator, career counselor at the UCLA Career Center. Welcome to the information session for Career Ready Bootcamp 2022. I'm very excited to be here. I want to introduce Kevin, my colleague, who's also here today to help us. We have a great presentation, PowerPoint presentation, and we actually have a former alumni who was part of CRB, Career Ready Bootcamp in 2021, Xiao, who will be talking about her experiences and so on after I kind of go through all the PowerPoint and give you more information about the program this year. So thank you, Xiao, for being here today. I'm really excited to hear your experience and to talk to our students about why they should consider applying for CRB. I'll refer to it as CRB, which is Career Ready Bootcamp. So if you hear or mention me saying CRB, it is Career Ready Bootcamp. So as I go through the presentations, I don't think we'll take more than 15 minutes or so. Quick presentation. It'd be great if you guys can save your questions to the end. I know there'll be a lot of wonderful questions that you're all going to have, but I have a feeling the PowerPoint will answer a lot of that. So if you don't mind saving your questions towards the end, that would be great. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Career Ready Bootcamp this year, it's March 25th to the 27th. It's a 3-day career development program. And every year it's looked a little bit different. In the past, we used to take students to a campsite. It was an overnight event. Last year, obviously due to COVID, it ended up being all virtual 3 days. And this year, we're actually going to try and make it in person. So very excited. It will be on campus. It will not have an overnight component. It'll be in residential life, most likely in Covell. But we're in the process of putting all of that together right now. But it will be a 3-day, crossing our fingers, in-person event with some potential remote parts for the weekend where we would have you bring your laptops and connect with professionals remotely as well, right? So let's talk a little bit about, sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulty. Here we go. Let's talk about the program goal and what the program is. The purpose of the program, it was first designed to help students, know your resources and what your support systems are. As first-gen students, transfer students, students, and it is open to all, not just first-gen and transfer, but with students who, wanted a little bit more extra support in their career development. That was the whole point of this program, is to provide students with that additional support and to help them recognize, what are the resources that are available to them through the Career Center and on campus. Build relationships with peers. A lot of times, especially now with COVID and everything being on Zoom, it is challenging. It is challenging building relationship with peers, building relationships with mentors, building relationships with professionals. So, our program goal is to help students connect with one another. We put you all in group settings based on industries that you indicate you're interested in and so on. So one of the things that a lot of students or alumni from CRB have said is that the excitement about getting to connect with peers and maintaining those relationships as they go through their career center at their UCLA experience. I mentioned establishing connections with alumni, professionals and employers. Definitely the Saturday is very much focused on connecting with alumni, connecting with employers, building a mentor type of a program. And the Saturday tends to really focus on that, where you actually this year will get to, meet one-on-one with volunteers who are more than happy to come onto campus and talk to you and provide you mock interview feedback, provide you resume feedback, do informational interviews and so on. So that was one of the other reasons why this program went into effect, is helping students build those connections and learn how to network. Increase your self-awareness and gain clarity. I think a big part of career development is getting to know yourself. So we definitely have a lot of wonderful workshops throughout the weekend that will, talk about what are your strengths, are you career ready, and gain more clarity as far as who you are as a candidate, be it you're applying to grad school or applying to industry right after undergrad. The programs definitely help students gain that clarity and be able to express who they are in a more professional way. And then receive coaching and practice presenting yourself. the mentorship and relationship you build with alumni and volunteers throughout the weekend, that definitely continues way after CRB that weekend. So you're going to see a wonderful example today of how those mentorship relationships lead to jobs and lead to other opportunities that students really didn't think was possible. So it's definitely a weekend where you get to learn and receive continued mentorship and coaching from our volunteers. And then finally, you set goals and create an action plan. And for those of you who are, trying to still maybe figure out what it is you want to do or not sure, the weekend definitely within your groups and your group lead, you'll be able to set goals and create an action plan to kind of figure out, okay, what are next steps? What is it that I need to do to potentially pursue this career path or apply to this type of graduate program and so on. So that's definitely another goal of this program. And then obviously going through all these workshops, going through the networking opportunities and so on, you increase your confidence and you're definitely on your way to achieve your goals. And we see that that's a very common comment we get from our alumni, and the fact that it helped the student within their confidence and being able to move forward with the career goal that they have for themselves. Let's talk a little bit about who we are looking for, and I'm going to put all the bullet points in here just to make it go a little bit faster. If you're a candidate or a student and you're unsure of your career direction, or you're pretty clear but you need that extra help or figure out what the next steps are, this is definitely a program for you. It does not matter if you're an introvert or extrovert. We definitely admit a variety of personality types to this program. And I feel like a lot of introverts might be a little bit intimidated by the fact that they have to do a lot of talking and connect. But, we get a lot of introverts who are mentors. A lot of our counseling team who's putting together the program, we're all introverts as well. So definitely not a requirement. Willing to step out of your comfort zone and support others as well. It's definitely a weekend where it does require work on your end. It does require for you to put yourself out of your comfort zone and really make the initiative to get the most out of the program. So we're definitely looking for someone who's comfortable doing that. Someone who's faced and overcome obstacles to get to where they are today. And we'll talk about the essays that are part of this application process, which does cover that topic. Someone who's dedicated to self-improvement. Like, this is a program that will help you improve, and you have to be dedicated and be in the mind frame of, I'm going through this program to help myself, and it will definitely make it an easier process if you're committed to that and within that thought process, and willing to accept help from others. We get over 20 volunteers, professionals who come in on that Saturday. They're taking time out of their busy schedule or a weekend to come and support UCLA Bruins. So definitely we would want someone who is there and willing to accept that help from those alumni who are taking time out of their busy schedule as well to be there. Some outcomes, I like showing these stats only because you can see before and after of what students have said who participated in CRB. We have, for example, a lot of support in helping in writing your resume. So you can kind of see pre-boot camp, the percentage, and it obviously went up to 100%. Interviewing skills, we have tons of programs planned around interviewing. You get to actually do a mock interview with a volunteer. We have workshops targeted towards networking skills and teaching you how to best network, and you get to use those skills with the help of the volunteers. Job and internship strategy, so you can see from pre-boot camp to post-boot camp, the strategies that we teach our students within the program and how confident a student after boot camp felt in being able to identify jobs and internships. And really getting to know yourself, that whole idea of what can I offer an employer, pre-boot camp, not really maybe being able to articulate that, but after boot camp, being comfortable to say, this is who I am, this is why I'm a valuable candidate for this opportunity or this grad school program, and a student's ability to be able to, market themselves that way based on the programs that we offer. So it's always great to see the stats, to just see outcomes and so on, as far as what previous CRB students have experienced going through the weekend. Let's talk a little bit about the application. So it is an application process. I'll show you all where the application is posted on Handshake. If you do get admitted to the program, there are some pre-program requirements. We do have a mandatory orientation and resume lab. You have to pick one or the other. So once you get that acceptance letter, you'll indicate which one you'd be able to attend. Again, our goal is to have these in person. The dates are set there. So just kind of be aware of it, that there are mandatory orientations and some pre-work that we would require for you to complete before the actual boot camp. And then you'll get tons of information before the actual boot camp as far as all that prep work that you need to do. And it's not, anything major. It's, take an assessment, take a look at the list of mentors that will be there, and let us know who you want to choose. Take a look at our career guide, familiarize yourself with some of our resources, those types of requirements that are the prep work. But again, if you are admitted, there are some activities that we would definitely require you to attend. A quick agenda. We are working on the agenda as we speak, but this is generally what our vision is for the 3 days that are happening. So that Friday, it's a lot of goal setting, career readiness, talking about your strengths, group activities, and self-reflection. So we'll be doing a lot of that over the weekend in meeting with your group. Groups tend to be about 10 students with a lead person, so myself or another career counselor, or someone in more of a leadership position from another department on campus. So we're doing a lot of self-reflection, and that's where that willingness to grow and willingness to reflect on yourself plays a big role. Saturday is mostly going to be engaging with professionals, so alumni, parents. A lot of parents volunteer and come to help our students as mentors. We'll be practicing interviewing, we'll be practicing networking. We're going to learn about, different career paths and industries and graduate programs and things like that. So it's Saturday is a very informative, gathering information, connecting with professionals type of a day. And then Sunday is taking a step back and kind of creating an action plan for yourself and connecting with mentors beyond that weekend, and how to go about doing that. And we always have a wonderful graduation ceremony. In the past, we've done certifications and things like that. So we're definitely looking forward to doing all of that in person on Sunday. Some quotes. So this is actually a picture from CRB a couple of years ago when we were actually at an actual campsite, from previous alumni. The most valuable aspect was being able to network with other students in the same situation as myself. It was great to be reassured that not everyone has figured it out yet. So it's really, important to realize that you're not the only one. You're not just in that boat. There are definitely a lot of students who are where you are, and this program is to help you with that and connect with your peers. Another quote that I like, I'm going to move this over. Networking with students, staff, and volunteers has been such a privilege. Learning interview tips, exercising social skills, and all of the given advice has been so beneficial. Having time for self-reflection has definitely given me more guidance and confidence. And again, this is another picture from a CRB program, which you're seeing students as part of the program and alumni, and sitting across and practicing mock interviews and networking and so on. So this is what it looked like in person, and that's our goal for this year, to continue that process as well in person. Any quick questions? And feel free to shout out about just the things that I've gone through. I'm going to talk about the application process right after this slide. Any questions in the chat? Thank you, Kevin, for answering some of those questions. Are there any questions from the audience before I continue? Oh, okay. So let's talk a little bit about the actual application. Oh, there we go. It's a little slow. Okay. So if you look onto Handshake, this is what the application will look like. It's a green screenshot of it. 2022 UCLA Career Center Bootcamp. The deadline is February 20th, and that's a hard deadline. The process, we admit our goal this year is to admit about 50 students. We do have a wait list as well. So based on the application and how many students apply, we've definitely admitted students off the wait list. two into the program, but we do have a wait list, so just be aware of that. We don't base the decisions on major GPA, resume. We don't ask for a resume or anything like that in the application. So if you're, not sure, like if your resume looks good or not, you don't have to worry about that component. You learn that within Career Ready Bootcamp on how to update your resume and so on. Major and GPA does not matter as well. The main part, which is actually a really important part of the application, is the essays. So when you go to Handshake and you click on, it'll say that you need to click on an external link to apply. And you'll see it's a Google form that you have to fill out as part of the application. That's where you would put in your essays. So there are 2 essays that we definitely would want you to pay close attention to and answer in a very genuine way. The first question is, in 150 words or less, please tell us how you would benefit from participating in the Career Ready Bootcamp program. And that's important for us to know. So, we want to know, why do you feel like you would gain, or what will you feel like you would gain from this program? And then in 300 words or less, please describe the challenges you have faced in preparing for your future career. And that was one of the bullet points I went through earlier today, the fact that, if there have been challenges in your life in helping you within your future career path, our goal is to help you and support you so that you can overcome those challenges and move forward. So the essays are a very, very important part of the application, and we definitely take the time to read those. So we do take the essays very seriously when choosing students for the program. And I'm going to go through these. Okay, so I mentioned a lot of these, but again, I think it's worth re-mentioning. How much effort did you put in your essay? So like I said, it is really important to really take the time and write a well-written statement. Level of self-reflection, like how well do you know yourself? How well do you feel, or can you express, like, this is what I'm good at, this is what I need support and help with, and being able to articulate that in the essays. How beneficial this program would be for you, and how much you're willing to put into it. And those were all criteria that we were, talking about earlier as far as the type of candidate we're looking for. So being able to articulate these points, I think, in the personal statement is a really important aspect of really showing us why we should pick you as a candidate for a Career Ready Bootcamp. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. Again, the application is due February 20th, and it is a hard deadline, so please don't leave it to the last minute. And apply. It's definitely a wonderful opportunity. It does get competitive, so we do have a wait list, but we're hoping that you all, you're here today and you're taking advantage of this, and gathering as much information as you can and using it in your application to let us know how dedicated and committed you are to the weekend. All right, I am going to stop sharing my screen. Perfect. Okay, are there any questions before I turn to and introduce our presenter today, who's going to talk about her experiences with CRB? Any questions? No? Great. So I wanted to introduce, is it Shay Shay or Penny? How would you like to?
Yeah, Shasha is okay.
Perfect. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming into our info session and talking to our students. You are an alumni from our Career Ready Bootcamp last year, correct?
Actually, the year before, 2020.
Oh, 2020. Wonderful. So
yeah.
you were
so I was lucky enough to be on site.
Yes, great. Welcome. Yeah. So thank you again for being here today. Is it okay? Thank you again for being here today. I did send you some questions, but basically, I wanted you to take a few minutes and talk about your experiences with CRB, why you chose to apply for the program, any strategies as far as the essays, because I know the essays are pretty much the same essays, that you would recommend or have for students in order for them to make themselves a competitive candidate. And you actually have a really interesting story about your mentor and your current position today and what you're doing as your full-time profession. So if you could talk about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ronnie, thank you for having me here, and thank you for the entire UCLA Korean Center for putting together another great CR camp system today. So yeah, so as Ronnie mentioned, I was a cohort for the year of 2020, and I was lucky enough to be the onset in Simi Valley. And the reason I was really interested in participating in this program was I was a transfer student to UCLA, and I transferred from Santa Monica College to UCLA in 2019. And then I was also a international student and a first generation student. So I didn't really know exactly I was gonna do with my life. And there was a lot of anxiety as to, how am I going to figure this out? And then I saw this Career Ready Bootcamp going on, and I immediately jumped into the application. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. And also another reason was I was interested back then in finance, but then I didn't get a lot of progress in terms of applying for internships. So I figured, I could use some of the help in terms of networking and also doing job applications. So that was the two primary reasons why I applied for the program. And then in terms of the tips for application, so all I did, as Ronnie mentioned, was I was being really reflective and authentic about my struggles as an international student and transfer student trying to figure out my career here in the US. So I think one of the tips I would share with you all is just trying to be authentic and articulate what are your struggles and how do you think the program will be able to help you in that regard? So hope that answered your first question, Ronnie.
Yes, thank you. And then if you can just follow up with what is it you're doing now and how CRB helped with that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually right now work for UCLA Investment Company as an investment analyst. So I'm not sure whether, you are aware of such entity exists. So we are endowment and we manage a little bit shy from 4 billion US dollars. And every university has an endowment where we manage donors' money, trying to serve the future generations' needs and trying to also help the campus research responsibilities. So, and the reason I was able to get a job was because a keynote speaker I met at a Career Ready Bootcamp back in 2020, and her name is Julie Sinai, who is the CFO of UCLA Investment Company. And after she gave a speech, I decided to reach out and just express my interest in learning more about her job. And she connected me back then with the CIO of UCLA Investment Company. And that was the year of 2020, and I haven't graduated. And then the CIO, Justin, paired me up with one of the director at the current company. And then we had this ongoing mentorship for a year before my mentor at a UCLA Investment Company, her name is Brianne, came to me earlier last year in March 2021 and asked me, hey, Penny or Shasha, there's opportunity available at a campus, will be interested. And I said, of course I would be interested. And then, with all the connections and all the relationship I've been building with the UCLA Investment Company and with the director, she knows a lot of what I've been doing and what I've been working on, trying to get my foot into the industry. So, and then after several rounds of interview, I got the position, which often requires several years of, investment banking or traditional consulting experience. But I'm lucky enough to make the right connection and build a meaningful relationship and constantly updating the directors in terms of what I've been doing. Yeah, so I actually have to say that it's definitely the Career Ready Bootcamp to help me find this job, and a lot of tips I learned from the event in terms of, how to network, and application helped me to get to where I am today.
Great, thank you so much. Any other final thoughts or advice you have for our students today?
Yeah, I guess I just want to share something about, networking, because it's just such an important part or important skill to learn regardless of the, industry you're interested in. So I think a lot of my anxiety back when I was a student, first transfer to UCLA, was, okay, I have nothing to give in return, and why would the other seasoned professional talk to me? I think what really helped me in terms of, I guess, easing my anxiety when I network, is to understand that the people are really helpful, and they really want to, lift other people up. So in terms of, trying to, I guess, indulging in, you think you have nothing to give back in return, you just trying to really build a meaningful relationship and trying to express your vulnerability, which I found very helpful, and yeah, and they're trying to, also understand the other person, whoever you network with, on a personal level, not just trying to see, if he or she can get you any job. So I think that's something I found very, very important.
Great, thank you so much for talking about that and your experiences and the importance of networking and how valuable this program has been in your professional development. Are there any questions for Xiao or the program at this point? I know there's a couple questions I noticed in the chat, but any questions so far?
Yeah, I guess I would just add at the end, if you ever want to, I think it's the time for me to give back. If you ever want to learn more about asset management industry, or you want to learn more about endowment and foundation, and feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I would be happy to share.
Thank you so much for that. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Any questions before I turn to the questions in the chat? Couple questions in the chat. It is open to seniors, fourth-year students, so we definitely encourage seniors to apply. Unfortunately, recent grads, so the way the Career Center resources work is you have up to 3 months after you graduate to use our resources. So if you graduated in the fall 2021, you do have, and I know it's you do have till March of 2022 to use our resources, but this program does fall into spring, so that we had to have some kind of a cutoff as far as who can participate and who cannot. But you can definitely take a look at the application and see. From my understanding, unfortunately, if you graduated fall of 2021, you don't qualify for the program. Any other questions? Great. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop recording at this point.